In this video, we're going to talk about OpenAI, which has just launched the agent mode for Chatgpt, and this is definitely going to change the entire market. It's a big step towards AI assistance and also a response to Manus AI, which currently dominates the entire autonomous agent market. We're going to analyze and show you all of this in today's video, but first, leave a comment below. Do you know what an AI agent is? Have you ever seen an AI agent in action? We're going to show you all of that in this video. Let's go straight to my computer screen, let's react to the news, and then at the end of the video, I'll leave the link to the news on the channel, all right? Let's get right to it then. I'll share my thoughts. I already have a dedicated computer that runs only AI agents, so I'll give you my opinions, including how you can use them to boost your productivity and also generate financial returns. Shall we get started then? 3, 2, 1, go!
OpenAI has just launched the Chatgpt agent. This is an agent that can both take action and perform web searches. In practice, this is a combination of both the operator and deep research. In this video, what I'm going to do is analyze the post, and by the end of the video, you'll have an idea of how to get started, as well as learn about some possible limitations to watch out for. This is an agent that allows you to take action on the web, in addition to offering other interesting features like generating spreadsheets, slide presentations, and several other functionalities.
Well, basically, what is an AI agent? Imagine as if you had an employee, you give this employee an order, you say something like, make a spreadsheet, do some research, buy a plane ticket because I have a meeting in 5 days in such and such city. So Pooh, purchase it for that date. Make a budget for a trip I'm going to take in 2 weeks. So you give commands, you give orders to your employee, and the more specific and detailed the order is, the better. The AI agent is nothing more than your employee. The better you ask, the clearer your order, which we call a prompt, the better it will perform. So it will go into your browser and buy tickets, create videos, do research, buy plane tickets, make hotel and restaurant reservations, and so on. The sky's the limit. That said, let's continue here.
In this video, I will analyze the article, show some of the benchmarks, and also present some of the capabilities, as well as explain how you can start using this. First, just to address some of the points from the blog post, they describe this as ChatGPT now being able to work for you using your own computer and handling complex tasks from start to finish. Things like being able to check your schedule and inform you about upcoming client meetings based on recent news, to planning the ingredients to prepare a certain type of breakfast, or analyzing different competitors and creating a slide presentation. What's worth highlighting here is that
it's a matter of analyzing the clients, right? You either pay a pretty high price to have a competitor analysis done, or you have an employee who might take 2, 3, even 4 days to do competitor research. So imagine I'll use my own case as an example, okay? I'm going to launch in a little while, in a very short time, actually, I'm going to launch the app with some artificial intelligence features for content creation. I had to research the competition beforehand. When I started researching the competition, I began by hiring some people. Then I started doing it in-house with an employee. And then I said, look, I use artificial intelligence to speed up the process. And so something that used to take 2 weeks in just 2 days, by using more than one artificial intelligence, we're able to speed up this process. And keep in mind, we didn't even use agents, right? We use some artificial intelligences like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and so on. But now you can ask an agent to do it, and then you can go do something else, right? You just let the research run there. So it's amazing, right? Whether it's to make money or to save the money you'd pay someone else, it's incredible.
if you've already used the operator, it really does have similar capabilities to interact with the website, but when combined with the agent, it also has the ability to do deep research to synthesize information and the intelligence of ChatGPT to get desirable results for anything you ask. Another aspect of the ChatGPT agent is that you're in control. At any time you can intervene. For example, if you need to enter your credit card information, or if it's doing something you don't want, you can easily interrupt and take over, or stop any task at any time. Now, one thing they emphasized about this is that you should be aware of some risks. You might want to pay attention to where you're entering your credit card information or which sites it's browsing. Because the point here is that this is almost like a new way of browsing the web.
So what happens? It's still very early, right? So when you run some command there, for example, book a flight ticket, actually buy a ticket if you get there and find a certain price, right? So let's talk about a ticket for $300. Since this video is being shown in Portuguese, English, Spanish, German, let's talk in dollars. So look, buy a ticket to the Caribbean if it's up to $400, for example. What happens then? Sometimes your credit card is very likely already saved because you've made other purchases there before. I never recommend that you save your credit card, but anyway, it's saved. What could happen? It could happen that it finds a ticket from $400 up to $400 and buys the ticket. But the problem is that sometimes it might go to some sites that aren't, well, safe, which sometimes are promotions from companies that aren't so trustworthy. Let's put it that way. And then since you were less specific, it's only thinking about price. What do you need to do? Either you don't authorize it to buy, you ask for confirmation. So it will say, I found a ticket for $400. Can I buy it? Then you take a look, see if it's a trustworthy site and so on. Or you can be specific. Look, only search on these 4 agencies, these 4 operators, these 4 bus companies. And that's it. So be specific. Another thing, it can do research on some websites, right? Let's suppose you say, hey, make a slide presentation where you tell me about the population growth of these countries. It can access links, it can download files, and this can pose risks because it might download from sites that aren't very trustworthy. This can bring viruses to your computer. So you need to set it up so that it always asks for permission when it's going to download something, when it's going to make a purchase, when it needs to confirm something, and always require you to enter passwords as well. I think that's really interesting. But anyway, these are just some recommendations, especially since the technology is still very new and will definitely open up a lot of opportunities for invasions, for hackers, and so on.
You need to stay alert because the agent can access websites and enter information that you might not want. To show some examples, this is how it will appear. You can select agent mode in Chatgpt. Here's an example of it actually creating a spreadsheet. It has the ability to search the web similar to a Google search. It can synthesize all these different page results for you. And one cool thing is that it has a really good visual interface. So it can read PDFs, it can read different websites. And in the midst of all this, you see this fluid interface where it switches between searching and summarizing. So the agent has both a text browser, as you can see on the screen here, where it can search for different things or summarize different pages. But if you need to perform some action, like if there are interaction barriers, or if you need to click on certain things to, for example, make a reservation, you'll be able to use an interactive browser like this one. And another thing to note is that you'll be able to visually see the different tools you've granted access to, exactly as shown here. And not...
Imagine being able to speak, which is what it's doing here, right? But imagine you give it access to your calendar so it knows your appointments, so to speak. And then you say, hey, book a restaurant for such and such date. It will already access your calendar and see what times are available. Or, for example, you're in a conversation, right? In a video call on Google Meet, for instance. And then you've connected both Google Calendar and Google Meet, and then you're there talking. At some point, you say, hey, let's schedule the next meeting for next week. So what will the agent do? It will connect to your calendar, check the available times, and basically schedule it for a time that works for you, right? So suddenly you say, oh, same day next week? Then it will check your calendar and see if everything is okay. Shall we schedule a lunch at that restaurant? Then it will contact the restaurant, make a reservation, and add it to your calendar. In other words, it's amazing. It's as if you had an employee or a secretary or even several. You can have more than one agent, right? So several employees there, each with a different role.
A truly powerful feature is the ability to generate PowerPoint slides, similar to the Excel functionality where you can do all that research. It will also be able to generate a PowerPoint in which you can have visual elements or even use it as a basis for a PowerPoint presentation on any topic you're researching.
All right, let's move on to the presentations part. With presentations, I've already made a video, actually 2 videos about Manus AI. I'll leave them linked at the end of this video for you to watch. But basically, you can make presentations, right? You can do research and you can create websites. These are 3 ways you can make money because you can do this for yourself, for your courses, or you can do it for other people's courses, for other companies. You can sell this as a service, but what's interesting, right? If you can do the research, and the research can generate the presentations, then all you have to do is record a class presenting the slides. Then you've already created a course. Great, perfect. If you also use HEYGEN here, which is the tool I'm an official representative of, I have several monetized YouTube videos where my clone appears, right? So I record a few videos, it trains my model, and then that's it, it's already me. So what do I do next? I use the agent to create the script. Then I take the text and have my avatar speak it. And also, if you don't want to use your own image, you can create realistic avatars or use HEYGEN's realistic avatars. So you use the agent to do the research, to make the spreadsheet, to write the script, and then you put your Agenier avatar created on HEYGEN or another platform to do the presentation, to present the video for you. And still, right? There's also the sales page for your product, which you can ask the agent either Chatgpt or Manus AI to create for you. Look how amazing that is, isn't it? Just a reminder, everyone, I've opened the members club. Basically, with level 1, you get early access to videos and priority responses to your comments. But with level 2, which is the most popular tier, in addition to all that, you get exclusive videos for members, and you can also ask me anything you want, not just comment on the videos, but actually ask me anything. Maybe you have suggestions for new topics, like how I come up with my topics. After all, it's 12 to 16 videos a day. Any recommendation of a tool to help you make money, maybe a video or a channel you want to create, or if you're unsure about which niche to choose. In other words, any business or artificial intelligence question, you can ask me, okay? Let's continue here.
Now, regarding some of the benchmarks, in the Humanized last EZON exam, the ChatGPT agent scored 41.6. This represents an improvement over Grok 4, which was just released. What's really interesting about this benchmark is that, as you can see here, we have the different results plotted for U3 without tools, all the way up to ChatGPT, with browsing, computer, and also the terminal. This is obvious. As you equip the LLM with more capabilities, such as the terminal or the ability to browse the web, obviously, at that point, just like a human, you'll be able to have these agents that can branch out and actually perform the relevant tasks to get done what needs to be done. Having a terminal where you can do things like mathematical equations or whatever else, and having that in a more deterministic way combined with the ability to search the web as a human would. In the end, all of this adds up to the cutting-edge result in humanity's final exam here. Now, regarding other benchmarks, we also see some cutting-edge results in terms of frontier math, as well as in tasks like DS Bench, which was designed to evaluate agents on realistic data science and tasks that span data analysis and modeling. And a really interesting benchmark that I hadn't seen before is the Spreadsheet Bench. With these results, in fact, we have here the benchmark for a human, and we see that the ChatGPT agent with access to XLSX files now has 45.7% of the capabilities compared to a human's 71.3%. If you're interested in any of these benchmarks, I'll leave them in the video description where you can click and read about some of the methodologies, as well as find a more in-depth analysis of each of these specific topics.
Well, this whole benchmark thing, folks, it's the company itself that does it, right? So whenever they release a new model, it's the most advanced, it's the closest to AGI, it outperforms all the other models from other companies. So it's quite questionable. I wouldn't take it too seriously, so to speak.
Performing different tasks in a recurring and automatic way. For example, if you want to receive the latest artificial intelligence news every morning or a financial report every Friday about certain stocks you're interested in, you'll be able to set up the agent to generate all this information at specific intervals.
Look how interesting this is. For someone who works as a financial consultant, just imagine, of course, you have your own experience and you're not going to delegate or advise on 100% of the activities, but imagine you're someone who does financial planning for several clients. Normally, depending on your level, you might even have a secretary, an employee, so to speak. So imagine that this agent is that employee. So you already have your clients and you'll keep serving them the same way, but those manual, tedious research tasks, that analysis, right? So for example, I asked the agent, look, I want to increase my client's portfolio of real estate funds or dividend-paying stocks. So do the following. Research the companies that performed the best in the last 30 days and those that performed the worst. So In other words, you're just going to ask it to gather the data so that you can then analyze the data and draw your own conclusions. So in other words, you're not going to be replaced. You'll ask it to do the tedious research so you can analyze the data and then with your experience and based on the data, make the decisions. So look how amazing that is. And also for people who don't have money, right? People who are just starting out. Imagine someone who's just starting out having the money to pay for 1 or 2 employees. Maybe they don't have it. Most likely they don't. But paying for 1 or 2 agents for sure, because it's 10 times cheaper, you know?
Now, regarding availability, it's being launched today for Pro, Plus, and Team members. Pro users will receive this by the end of the day, while Plus and Team users will get access in the coming days.
Well, I don't know when you're watching this video, but basically on the day I recorded it, on that very same day, it was being rolled out both to the $200 paid accounts and the $20 paid accounts. And very likely in a few days or weeks, it will be released, of course, with a very small limit for free plans, just so you can get a taste of it. All right? I'll leave some videos about agents here for you to check out so you can keep going with me. I'll see you in the next video then. See you soon.